I think we'll start again today. We'll just go around the group and just kind of quickly say your best success stories so far.
I finished a feature, got picked up for distribution. I was one of the main actors. I wrote it, produced it. That was saving me money, putting my own resources and funds to the project. And eventually got picked up for distribution. It got enough attention where Amazon put it in part of their catalog, not just like able to buy, but actually part of the Amazon catalog, which is really hard to do for independent feature now. And then I took that film, I did a community event in my hometown. That also got attention, and then I won a community award from the entire San Bernardino County. So, yeah, pretty good year so far.
Hi, my name is Olivia, and I've been working a staff PA job at a production company for about a year now. And I think the most exciting thing that's happened to me this year is that I've started to understand the business a lot better. And now at this point, I've been starting to make things with my friends, like music videos. And then I finally just got my first client who wants a commercial made for them.
How did that happen? That's big.
My friend and I, it's kind of just us two that work together as a team, and he reached out to this company that he knows, and they needed something done. So
you gave them a pitch?
We did, yeah.
Did some Zoom calls, wrote some stuff up, gave them a budget, and they said yes.
They did, yeah.
Okay, one more thing. One thing that I loved about your interview that Omar did with you is you said in a way that I had not heard it said before, but you're like, the thing that Friends in Film does is it gets you in working on professional sets first so that you have the network first. And then they love you, which is totally what's happened at your production company. They love you. And then you do projects and you show everybody your projects. And it's just, that's the opposite of what most people are doing. So I love that you said that. Was there anything more you'd want to add on to that? Because I just said what you said, but
I think that's perfect, honestly. Like, I think that as you're working on projects on the side while you're working with these people, right now I'm working for them as a PA, I'll kind of be able to show them that, like, I am a producer and I can produce things, and you have them right there and you know them already.
I was on set as a PA, and I was just helping out for the day, and they were doing a motivational speaker scene, so they needed people in the audience. They didn't have enough background, so they were like, "Can you go fill in?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I sat down next to this guy, and we talked for like pretty much in between every shot, and he was like, "I'm struggling with this project. I've been trying to get this animated web series off the ground for years, and I can't figure it out." And I was like, "Well, what's going on? What stage are you at right now?" He's like, "Well, I can't figure out how to cast it. Like, I don't know if I need to talk to a casting director, or like, do you know anybody that could cast it?" And I looked at him and I was like, "You're sitting in a room full of actors." And I go, "Just look around, man." And he was like, "Are you an actor?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, do you want to audition on Monday?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I auditioned, and he's like, "Great." And so that was 2 years ago, and he's brought me back as different supporting characters the years ever since then. And the second thing that happened was something similar. I was a PA, and somebody was like, "I have this really great idea, but I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to start it." And I was like, do you have an outline, or like, have you talked to a writer?" And he's like, "No, I just have this really great idea." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's like have like a brainstorming session next week." And so we did that, and he's like, "Can you just write the script for me?" And I was like, "Okay." So I did that, and that was during the pandemic, and I sold my first script during the pandemic. So that was the two crazy ones using Friends in Film, and now I'm finally back again.
I'm Samantha Bell, and am I the oldest? I started Friends in Film in 2014. I'm the OGest that's here. Obviously, there's ones before me. So for me in the last year specifically, I was Terry Cruz's personal person on set for the Final Four. He came on, filmed some stuff. And then I'm a full-time coach and performer. So I'm a professional singer and an actor. So I also, front of camera was my start. And it's funny because I used to say, oh, I'm an actor, and behind the camera I do PA work, but really second AC and casting. And someone here, we were talking, and they're like, "Oh, what's the last thing you cast?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't actually really do that anymore. I really just perform." Yeah, Jonathan, he was like, "Oh, interesting." I was like, "Yeah, I cast some stuff for Ludacris, but that was back in I don't know, 2022." And I realized I was like, I'm really just doing what I want to do now. Like I'm really just performing.
The best thing I can say about the program is I have this fear for years that keep thinking inside myself how I can get to the film industry, how I can get to the film industry. And the fear was what it pushing me back because I didn't know anybody, I didn't know where to start, I didn't know what I have to do, what is connection, none of that. And Friends and Film was the best thing that happened this year for me. It actually break that fear that you can start from a little BA position and grew that through that, and then get to the film industry, and that's pretty much the best thing that happened this year for me, because now I have light at the end of my path. I can see I can see a path, I can see a light, I can walk through that, and I know that it's obviously it's going to be obstacle, it's going to take time, but now I have a bright path that I know this is the way to do it. And I'm so glad that see each and single of you. It was a very amazing experience for me. So I'm very thankful for that.
Hi everyone, my name is Phoenix, and I've had a lot of really great successes thanks to this program. But the one I want to talk about was one of my first big ones for me personally. It was in March of 2021, and I was in an actors Facebook group. Even though I don't act, I was just looking for anything that was filming at all. And there was a post looking for actors for a project. And so I just reached out and I was like, if you need a production assistant, I did the whole want to work email, and they responded and they wanted to set up a Zoom meeting. So I did a Zoom interview with the writer and the director, and they liked me. And afterward, I just said that, my goal is to produce. I'm really passionate about the planning and pre-production. So I would love it if I could shadow in on any sort of Zoom meetings, or I can make you call sheets, anything that has to do with the planning, I'd love to do. And so they allowed me to do that. And the first day on set, they pulled me to the side as soon as I got there, and they were like, "You have done way more than a production assistant is supposed to do. So we want to make you the line producer." And I was so happy about that. Even though it was just a small short film, I was thrilled that that happened. So, yeah.
And is that because you had the list of things to do and you're just like, I'm going to do that. Oh, now I know I'll go do this. And I do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And just being willing to do whatever and knowing what people need. And yeah, exactly.
Hey, how's it going? Hello. Hi, my name is Jones, and I just recently started the program. The other day I was in Paramount Studios in one of the lots. They got the dress fitting. So I wore the suit, tie, and everything. They took a picture, and everything is set for tomorrow. I gotta wake up early and go to, I think it's in Burbank. The shooting is in Burbank, and I'm ready for that. Thank you, everything. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Adriana. I'm from Canada. I'm in the costumes department. So, I'm here to make you look fabulous. I started in Friends of Film in 2018. And the biggest shift for me was that mindset shift that a lot of people were talking about. One of the things that really has held true throughout every experience I've had was to really connect with people on a personal level while you're there professionally, but really making friends with people who you share values, mentality, work ethic, passions, and whatnot. And so when I started out, I didn't know anybody and I was very scared, a lot of people. But I happened to be in a town that was just starting to kind of take off. I was in, you know, Toronto is a popular place to film things these days. So I started in 2018, and my life was kind of all over the place. I didn't feel like I had much direction. I knew I wanted to do film, so I showed up on a something what used to be called Career on Fire, and the main thing that really the thing that ended up sticking around was really the mindset of you are there to help people do their job while learning how they're doing theirs, so that one day you could do the same thing. So observing things and being prepared and bringing things with you, you know. So I feel like that has really helped me catapult myself through, because I kind of stood out because I was prepared, you know, the whole get it factor thing. I was just, I came in with the mindset that no job is too small, and every opportunity is an opportunity, right? Everybody you meet, you know, you don't have to, you know, sell yourself in that sense, but you show up, you do the job, and that is really, really good. The biggest achievement I feel like I've had this year was my dream project. I cannot even believe it happened. I ended up on Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein for sewing those costumes, and it was so surreal. I ended up getting that job because I was on another show. Was David Cronenberg's The Shrouds, which just showed at Cannes in the last one, and so I met some people there. I met the cutter, and I really liked working with him. So sometime around the new year, I messaged him again. I said, "Hey, I love working with you. I really hope that you did too, and I like your work ethic. I'd like to work with you again." And so I didn't hear from him for 2 days, and then I got a email from the costume supervisor who's in charge of hiring people, and she said, "Hey, so I got an email from the cutter. He's working on Frankenstein. Like, we're on Frankenstein here. Would you like to, would you like an interview? I'd love to talk to you. Can I set up, I stared at that email for about, 10 minutes, and then I just jumped around the house for 20 more minutes because it's just the weirdest feeling, that feeling of elation. So then, so I ended up going in, and that got me there. Yeah, I was there for 3 to 4 months. I learned a lot. It was beautiful. I feel so lucky. So that was the biggest one I did. So the thing I learned from that really was the fact that connections are everything. The people you meet, the people you connect with, the people that you share passions with, you never know where they're gonna go and where they can take you along. So yeah, it's a network business, and it's good to do that. It's good to meet all kinds of people, and I'm so happy to meet all of you today. Aww. So yeah.
And you've been on hundreds or thousands of shoots. I want people to realize that this is probably thousands of shoots.
I didn't do the math, but my first one, funny enough, my first one was Handmaid's Tale. And then I went on to Star Trek Discovery, and then I did Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the different seasons, not the first one, I did second and third of each. But yeah, it just went on to like American Gods, some really great designers as well coming in. So yeah, I feel so lucky. It was Titans, The Boys. I'm on Gen V at the moment. Yeah, it's really great. And I've done a variety of positions, like a different. I was doing sewing. I'm doing sewing right now, but I started out like everybody doing like wardrobe PA type stuff, right? And when I showed up and loved it and just authentically talked to people and connected, it really was a lot easier that way in that sense. Like I was so up in my head, how should I be? How should I act? What should I say? And then as soon as I got less wooden, things got a lot better. But yeah, and there was a lot of moments that I kept going back to the Friends in Film tips, which was always like, always be of service, always have, look for solutions to problems that even the people that you're helping don't know they have yet. That's been a big one. And like, be the assistant that you'd want to be if you were in their position, right? Like, if you have lofty aspirations and you want to be the leader and you want to run a team, as a PA, as a person who's on set helping with whatever it is, always be like, if I was them, what kind of help would I want, right? And so some people are very communicative and they tell you, I need you to do this and this and this. Other people don't tell you anything and you kind of go, I don't know what to do. And so you start learning what makes good leaders, what makes not so good leaders. And then you're like, it's like, it's such a lesson, because even the what you might think is a bad experience is a lesson, right? It shows you this is ineffective, this doesn't work. So the way that you can be a better leader is to just, the way you can be a better leader is to remember those things. Yeah. I found myself in situations where I did some things that weren't even noticed. One thing I can think of is so simple. The director and the DP were talking, and they didn't. It was really dark, and they couldn't see anything. And the director dropped their pen, and I was there with a flashlight, and I just lit the way. He didn't even notice that and they just kept on talking. He picks up his pen and they keep on talking. And I looked at my supervisor and she goes, "Good job." And that was like, yes. So now I know this is the kind of stuff that matters, even though it doesn't seem like it's someone is noticing. And the next thing you know, you're on Frankenstein. So yeah, I'm so grateful. I can't express it. I really am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey everyone, I'm Brian. Let's just have a round of applause for Janet and Joe for hosting this wonderful event and getting us all together and sharing all your wonderful stories, all the success. It's great to be here with all of you. I'm truly grateful to be here every year. This is my 6th year, I think, with doing this. My 6th year.
You broke all the records every year.
Let me flip in the pool.
For 6 years.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me break the rules. And
yes. We said the first time, they were like, oh, we really don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm going to do it. And we're like, well, we really, then it was like 10 o'clock at night and it was dark and all of a sudden it's like, it's like, he just did it. The backflip into the pool.
Yes. Well, there he goes. Yeah. Well, I'm having a wonderful time. I hope you guys are too. I've been on at several gigs this year. It's been my most active year since I went through the program back in 2018. Gaining traction finally, and it feels really good. I feel like once you get those first few and you have that confidence and you've been around like-minded people and you make those connections that everyone's been talking about, I feel like it gets a lot easier. And you just, yeah. 2 that stick out were the 2 longest gigs I was on this year. They were week-long productions. The first one was the Miss USA show in Reno. That was a week long and nailed that one and really connected with the production crew there. And that one led to the Music Grammys this year, which was probably the one that really stuck out the most. Anyone check out the Grammys this year? Music Grammys? No? Not for anyone? Well, it was cool. I was here down in LA. Got to meet Miley Cyrus. I love Miley Cyrus. What's up, girl? But yeah, so yeah, nailed the Miss USA show, and that's what led to the Grammys. But I feel like once you really connect with the production crew, and just like touching on what you said, just being the person that you want to work with, that you would want to work with, I think is really important. I think, I think that's really important, and just going out of your way, like all the little things that you think that people don't notice, they notice. Most of the PAs were going home. It was long days. They were 12-hour days. But I live locally, but I was just sleeping in my truck actually in the parking lot just because we were working so late and I didn't want to come back in every morning and drive back and forth. So I was sleeping in the truck, and one of the guys on the production crew actually got COVID and had to fly home, and they actually put me in a room for the rest of the week. So that was really cool. Felt really privileged to have a room as a PA because you don't really get those privileges as a PA much. But yeah, I think those are the 2 that really stuck out. And the Grammys has led to numerous productions after that. Did a really cool shoot for Vail Resorts, did a snowboarding commercial with them, and got to snowboard, do something that I really love to do, and be on set and snowboard around the mountain. And it was epic. And Yeah.
He's snowboarding down the mountain with gear.
Yeah, that was my role. They were like, "Can you snowboard?" I was like, "Yeah, I can snow. Yeah, let's go." They were just It was an all-day shoot. The weather, it was a blizzard as we were shooting, so we had drone shots. We had drones in the air, and the weather was super unpredictable. The winds blowing, hurricane weather. It was wild, but yeah, it was just really cool to be mixing two things that I'm really passionate about, and that was really cool.
One thing that I think is amazing that you're doing is you're not local to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, Lake Tahoe. Yeah.
You're breaking into the biggest stuff in Los Angeles, and you're working on it from Lake Tahoe. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing that. I
Just commit to the thing, and you're like, I love adventures. I love traveling anyway. So coming down and stepping out of my element, I'm in the mountains, so LA is the farthest from my element, like what my daily lifestyle is. It's the farthest thing from my everyday. But I think that stepping out of your comfort zone is so important in life, especially in the program. All those self-confidence, trainings and teachings and everything. You just going, you take all that, you apply it to set, and you're like, wow, this really makes sense. And it's just. Yeah.
You got on some local shoots.
You
met some good people on those local shoots that are connected into Los Angeles, and they're like, this guy's great. But what's so amazing is that there's many good local people here in Los Angeles. However, you made such a great impression with these people that you worked with way the heck over there, Lake Tahoe, that they invited you to go work in Los Angeles. I'm really blown away by that. That just does not happen.
But yeah, I'm super grateful. I'm looking forward to it again this year. The Miss USA show is coming back up at the end of the month, and then the Grammys in February again, locked in for that one. So yeah, just excited to be in the industry and getting it done, and and to find what department I belong in. I'm doing a lot of PA work and getting a lot of spending a lot of time on set now, and I'm excited to take the next step and find out where my niche is and find out kind of where I belong in the industry.
Yeah, you could do anything. So.
Well, thank you, and thank you all of you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dulce, and I'm fairly new here with Janet's program. And I think that the best thing that has happened for me is a boost of confidence, because I came into the industry as a dancer. I danced for many celebrities, many of our Latin celebrities. And my first shoot that I had the experience with a Netflix show, that's when I got my eligibility to become a SAG member. And a year later, I was a SAG member. But I came into the industry without knowing anything, like many of us. The fact that you know the industry from all aspects, and you are, what I want to learn. Every information that everything that you know about the industry is what I want to learn. What I wasn't taught before I came into the industry, and I look forward to a lot more experiences and learning a lot more within the industry.
Hello everyone, I'm Luca. What's up? I joined program, I think I finished program a year ago. So I think biggest success for me happened like after 5 months, that I got that feeling of I found like inner peace of not like surviving anymore and enjoying what I'm doing. So it was for me it was the biggest success to find that. Besides that, I worked with several big actors from shows Shameless, Walking Dead. Last 2 weeks ago I did documentary for NBC. It's gonna be aired soon. I was a first AC there and first AC / camera operator. So I mean, I worked for Adobe 2 weeks ago. So I mean, it's going great and I enjoy it. I feel great and I see where I'm going, and I know that it just takes time and just hard work.
And
so keep it up.
Some of your day rates? What are some of your day rates?
So one great day rate was on NBC shoot. It was $750 a day. It was 12-hour shoot. not crazy schedule, but we were there whole day. And also I worked for YouTubers, and I was a gaffer there, and it was $1,000 a day. It was like 14 hours day, but still.
And how much per month have you been making? Some of these months?
Usually it's like 4 to 5 thousand a month, but I had several months where when I made like 7 to 8K. Yeah. So mostly I'm doing G&E and camera department. Yeah, and one of my successes was that I was really scared of doing like pulling focus. I was super scared of doing it. And the DP, I gripped a lot for him. He was like, so we got a really low budget feature film coming up, and I don't have a first AC, so I need someone who's gonna pull focus and also help me with lighting. And he was just like, okay, you're gonna do it, I don't care. And I was like, okay. And now I'm getting booked at the first AC a lot too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going great. I'm really grateful. I moved here into 2021, and for a year and a half, I was not able to do anything at all. Like, I think I landed one gig and where I was getting paid 125 a day, and it was crazy. But after a program, yeah, I think everything just fell into the like its place, and I just saw how and when what to do.
And I think that you have so much that you can kind of teach us with just this go-getterness that you have, because you...
I think that's like immigrant mindset, you know? Yeah, and it helps a lot.
Yeah, like you just don't entertain it not happening. You just won't.
Yeah, I mean, when I find myself in the place where I want to be, I'll make sure I'm a rock star there. So, yeah. I mean, nobody can get in my way, and no one can stop me there. So yeah, I mean, that's what I was missing. You know, I didn't knew how to get there. Once I knew how to get there, it got super easy.
Yeah, you knew that you had the ambition and the drive.
Yep.
But yeah, you had the drive and the determination, but what you needed was the pathway, just to efficiently know what to do to get on these sets and meet these people so that you could implement.
Yeah, I mean, how to use my ambition and how to use that energy. You know, I had energy, but I needed some tools, and I got tools, and now I'm on my way. I'm on my way up.
And before we move on, another thing that you have broken into was you went from grip, gaffer, camera operator on like independent projects into the professional world as a production assistant.
Yeah.
And that's making that transition is not the easiest, because especially with what you're doing with camera, because those jobs just keep coming. Like he could just keep working as a camera operator and a grip and a gaffer and making $350, $200, $400 a day, and just keep working with people that are kind of like doing actors reels and these smaller projects. He could have done that for forever. But since he was in this program, I was telling him, hey, you got to get on the big sets, because that's your future, because you're going up to the big stuff. So they got to meet you. And so he's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And of course, he did it. So I want to talk about that, what you did to start getting these production assistant jobs, which I taught you, but I think you probably did kind of your own little moves on that. And I'd love for you to share that.
So, yeah, for me, still priority is to work as a PA on big sets. So if some job comes up where I am working as a gaffer or first AC and someone calls me and needs me as a PA on big sets, that's my priority. I call back and I apologize. I turn down that job and I'm going to work as a PA, even I know that I'm getting paid less there. Because like there's one production company who comes from New York and they are working with Adobe, like Omar worked with them too. And yeah, once they are here, they are always calling me back. They are giving me more tasks, and every time I work with them, they are paying me more and more. Um, First time I worked with them was we were doing promo video for Trixie Melon. So yeah, that's how it started. And I started PAing on indie stuff, I was doing freebies, and then I was getting paid $50 a day, like $100, and it just grew from there. But to get how I got on a professional set was that I got that experience as a PA on like low budget stuff, and I started sending emails. Like, I think I sent like thousands of emails, and I got very like little amount of answers from them, but it still was enough for me to just get there. And I met a lot of people in this stuff, like mostly like first ADs or producers who are working on bigger sets as a like production coordinator, or sometimes they're working as a PAs too. So when I introduced myself that I want to work as a PA, like the feeling I get always is like if I tell it to people, they are always happy to help me.
So it was like you, what worked was you got on so many shoots that you had quite a resume.
Yep.
And a lot of experience. And then you cold emailed a lot of people on your magic list. And you're like, I want a PA, I want a PA. And they can also see, oh, he's gripped, he's gaffered. And it's, you know, it's just stuff after stuff with task after task. It's just like so obvious. So that's why that magic list combination with the get on shoots method is so effective. And also it just comes across in your kind of you just know you're good. So the attitude just comes across like, hey, you know, I've done a lot. I heard of you. Been wanting to work with you. Let's work together. It's just like, I'd love to PA for you. And I remember Goran said one thing. Remember Goran was a couple years ago. Goran said, I will do the work of 3 PAs. And they were like, okay, you're hired. And then he did. He just like, like the toilet overflowed and he took care of that. And he went up and down the stairs and he got so tired, but he, and he, you know, of course his personality is delightful, but he also worked very hard. And, yeah, I just think that just like that, you know, you just own it. You're like, I am good. And, you know, you're going to love working with me. You just know it. Just have that attitude. Why not? Don't listen to anything else. So thank you for that example.
Thank you.
Hello. Ooh, boy, am I nervous. Okay. I'm Colleen. I flew in from New York, and I would say that the proudest moment that I've had so far with the program is actually starting the program, leaving film school to start the program, and just I'm very excited to just get out there and start doing the work that I want to do. Yeah.
And you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Month 3 and I'm doing it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Amazing. Like I remember talking to you as well. See, for me, it's so satisfying when I talk to each of you guys individually. And then I remember talking to Colleen. She's like, well, I'm in film school and I'm thinking that why should I stay here? I'd rather just be learning on set. I'm like, exactly. And she's like, I think I could do it. I'm like, oh, yeah, you can. And then she started and she's just like, does a module, does everything in it. Does a module. And she's like, yeah, got this job, got that job, got that job. She's just, what, you know, they used to call me the urbanator. Yeah. So you're like the Colleenator. Colleen.
Oh.
What could we call you? Yeah, you're just doing it. And you don't seem nervous at all either.
Just doing it. Oh, I'm faking it till I make it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Good job.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Very excited to meet new people in Friends in Film and be part of the community and just have a good time. Yeah, doing the things that we all love.
Hello, everyone. My name is Omar. I did the Friends in Film program about 4 or 5 years ago, some of the biggest successes this year. I've made the most I've made in a month. I made $8,500 working on a documentary, a travel documentary, going across America and back, sound mixing. So that was pretty cool. I bought a new car from Filmwork, which is also incredible too. And
Because you crashed your car on the way to Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats house.
So I was on my way to Alicia Keys' house to do an interview with her, and my car got totaled on the way. And I looked at the schedule. I'm like, okay, we're not shooting till 12 noon. I called the producer. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm in an accident. I'm safe. I'm going to get my car towed, and I'm going to find a way to get to set. And he's like, okay, cool. We'll send a PA to come pick you up. So anyways, my car was destroyed. I just grabbed my equipment and I asked the tow truck guy to drop me off at a Starbucks. And the PA picked me up at the Starbucks, and I made it to Alicia Keys' interview. Anyways, yeah, this is a cool story. I made $1,000 on that job, which is the most I made in a day. Sound mixing as well. Another accomplishment was I art directed an NBC press junket a couple weeks ago. That was 4 days. I made $550 a day for that one, and that was cool. It was cool to see like art director Omar like on the call sheet. It was incredible. Yeah, dude, it was great. Those are some of my accomplishments.
How many shoots do you think you've been on?
I don't know. I haven't.
Hundreds of days.
Definitely hundreds. Yeah, maybe 1,000. Yeah, definitely hundreds.
Yeah, I just love to point that out because, you know, when we're starting, we're kind of like, you know, oh, I hope that, you know, I get on a shoot. But I just want you guys to all realize you got thousands of days on shoots in your future. Thousands, 10,000s of days. So much money. All my money came from the film industry. All my vacations, all my wealth, all of my vacations taking my parents, all of the rental houses, it all came from the film industry. And you know that it's going to be like this for you as well because the film industry keeps increasing. If you look at any data every year, year after year, it's like billions, it adds more billions and more billions and more billions. And the billions are coming from people are watching stuff. We're hungry for content. It's tied to the economy. It's eyeballs. So when we hear about, you know, TV and feature and commercials and the strikes and all the things that can make you be afraid about the future, remember the film industry keeps increasing and the eyeballs is what everybody's at. So it doesn't matter what the projects are. The projects are happening and they're professional, and that's what that is in that number of what's increasing. So it's just smaller projects all adding up as well as the bigger projects, the medium-sized projects. The industry continues. So what you got to realize is never be scared when you're talking to somebody that's in the business for 20, 30 years and says, you know, whatever they say. You're the future of the film industry. And you're thinking differently than them because you're creators and you're creating that, all of the future work and all the future projects and the podcasts and the verticals and all of the ways that you guys are going to create to get the content out there in the future. You're going to create that, and it hasn't even been invented yet. But you're going to do it to reach more eyeballs. So that's what all of our jobs are. We do art to make money that changes the world. So that's going to continue, and we're the ones that are going to be doing it.
I'm just a Victoria Adams. I'm with him. I haven't had the program, but I am a gracious guest. And also wasn't intending to be in the film industry when I was, but networking really got me there in every way that I had other experience. I was recruited in and walked all the best red carpets, did 25 feature films, and got a SciTech Academy Award and also an Emmy. So, you know, I didn't mean to do it, but guess what? Networking does it. So network.
Yeah, I have to go after that. She's been there. She's done that. My name is Steve, and I've finished the program about a year ago. And I remember a story when I first started out. It was like the first PA job I ever gotten. Kid comes up to me, goes, "Man, you're fantastic. How long you been doing this?" And I said, "What do you mean? This is my very first day." And then just wow, you're just so on it, and just it makes you feel good because you putting to use the information that Janet presents, and just getting things done, being proactive, just having the forethought to see, hey, what needs to be done? What can I do? How can I make this project go faster? Get it, just everything done. And the things that we do, they all work. And if you keep doing it, people call you back. And that's what's a fantastic. Now people are saying, hey, Steve, can you help me out on this project? Can you help me out on that project? So they're calling me without even me reaching out. Say, hey, we got something in the end of October. Are you up for it? Sure. Just, let's do it. Book me.
What I love so much is like Steve, if you talk to him for a while, you see that what he's done, he's done so many different businesses. He's traveled all over the world. He's had so much life experience, and all of that counts a lot. I mean, that's all skills and abilities and just able to make the little decisions in the moment from all of the past experience. And so it's obvious why, when you get on sets, you're like, okay, this is a little bit different, but it's all the same. We're all working together as a team to get something done, and I'm going to get it done to the best of my abilities no matter what. And so I just want to say, I just think it's so wonderful to work with very capable people like Steve, and then to say, okay, for film, this is the way. And so he just takes it and runs with it. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly, it works.
Absolutely works. And don't be afraid. You got to do it. You're always learning. So that's important. Just go forward, do your best. You'll be tripped up along the way occasionally, but learn from it. Own up to your mistakes and go forward, and you'll be a success.
Hi, I'm Sam. My story is very similar to a lot of you guys around the circle. I resonated with just about everything that was already said. I'm new to the program, new to LA, just moved here this summer. I'd say about a year ago this time, I was sitting in a corporate office in San Francisco, very unfulfilled and miserable, watching Janet's YouTube videos on my phone, checked out of work, and now I'm sitting in the backyard that I've been looking on these videos for years now. So it's an honor to be here with you guys. I've spent the summer having a blast, working on sets, doing all types of jobs, still trying to find my exact niche as well. And if I had to say the thing I'm the most proud of, it would definitely be the connections made and finding my family, finding my kin, my folk, the people that I think I will hopefully be in touch with for the rest of my life. So it's been a blast, and I hope to meet you guys all in person. I know I'm a little bit late, but I'll make sure to make the rounds at some point. But yeah, just happy to be here.
And and Sam's been on every single call in the last couple of months since I guess you just started 2 months ago. So every single call. And he's on shoots with a lot of newer students, and he comes from the financial background, so he's a producer. And I'm like, oh, 100%, you're a producer. And he thinks this way as well. So, just like I was talking about with that, the increasing of the film industry, and I was talking about this with Adriana too, talking about you, how, you, with the skills that you have, you can work with these creative people that don't want to deal with all the nitty gritty that are also, some of them, not all of them for sure, but just some of these very creative people like Olivia are going to be the future, the future directors. And they won't want to handle all the details. They want to create. And you can take their stuff and make it work and handle all that, charge them a good amount of money, but also form those relationships. And that's how you're going to grow your career. It's going to be you, in addition to getting on these big sets. But producers, you've got a tremendous power. You guys are going to be creating all this future content for it to reach the eyeballs. And a lot of that stuff has never been done, and some of these outlets have never been created yet. But as producers, you're going to be finding talent, finding stories, and finding outlets. You're going to be selling all the time. So you're creating the future. So you've got some really mad skills. Okay. And anybody else that wants to be a producer? That's a good idea.
I'm here to make create something and make millions. I was planning on being a professional poker player. I was studying for a while, and I used to go to and from to Nevada. 9 to 5 was too much trouble, clocking in, clocking out. I was feeling suffocated, and I needed something where I can create something or solve problems every day. I can wake up 20 hours. Yes, so this was it. So I'm just beginning. This is kind of my first day into the program and everything. So first step for the many, and yes.
I see you as entrepreneur, and you're a successful entrepreneur, and now you're going to be able to actualize these abilities that you have, because you have the drive and you can bring in the business and you can talk to people, but now it's going to be fulfilling, and you're going to really actualize what you have to contribute to this world.
Hope for that, yes.
Oh,
And
yes.
I think the industry and the business is open for a lot more ideas than what we are seeing now. Since all the OTT platforms have been there, you can go any place. You just need your network and connections, good people, and everything. So yes, the cosmos is everything. You got a lot more stuff to create. So yes, I'm just starting writing up, and I have the book. So this will be my. Honestly, this is my first hard copy I've ever ordered. So yes, I was all audible stuff. So yes, thank you. Yes.
I got the program before I moved to LA. I came to LA, got on some sets. I've been on a lot of sets before because I acted as a young guy, teenager. So I've been on a lot of sets before I even took the program, but I wanted to just have more knowledge of the industry in general, just besides just being an actor, and I really wanted to go for it and make my own movies as well. I knew that was going to be a big goal. So I started again as a production assistant, probably did that about 10 times, but knew very quickly, I was like, I can produce, I can do this. And one thing that Janet talks about more than the magic list is just competence and understanding terms, terminology, how a set flows, and that's going to take you very far. And one of my first mentors actually came to me because I knew what a minimum guarantee was. It wasn't the fact that it had anything to do with me helping them. It was, okay, this person's competent. I'm going to give him more of my time. And that's extremely important. So if anybody's starting off, having the knowledge of the industry, even that little joke that I made inside the room where I was carrying the water, I was like, no, this is your union job. I got this. And I took it over. So understanding little jokes, different terminology of the industry is going to buy you time to talk and make those connections. So be obsessive, be competent, be very knowledgeable of the business, learn as much as you can. And from there, I started making producer friends and connections. I was mentored by a producer from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and I learned a lot from that experience about how financing in films are actually done, especially in bigger films. There's a lot that goes into it. There's international financing and loans, and I just learned so much and soaked up so much information. And then from there, I co-produced, I wrote, and co-starred in my first feature. And then my first feature got picked up for distribution. It's part of the Prime catalog right now. And then from there, I went to my hometown, did a premiere there. And then I got an award from the entire San Bernardino County for doing that. And also got a client for production work, and I'll be in Mexico in about 6 weeks. So yeah, a lot happened this year, yeah.
And you acted and produced, or
Yeah, act, wrote, and produced. So made the screenplay. Oh, also another thing, and I'm just adding to this. I showed a much higher budget script to an executive producer on Elf, and he thought it was really great. So don't know where that's going to take me, but just getting into these rooms now is not a possibility, and it started just from taking these little steps.
And how did you have the opportunity to show him that script?
So from a friend who's connected to the family, and he didn't realize like how much, because he's in film, but he's still learning, like the friend that's connected to the executive producer. And what I pretty much was just lay down the exact line of, this is how a film is made, this is how a film is financed. And he took that to his friend, who's the producer, I don't want to give names out, and he said, this guy's really competent, and I want to read his script. Yeah.
I love that. So that's an example of somebody that isn't that into the industry or that experience, that knows somebody that's incredibly experienced, that can do so much for your career. So when you're a go-getter, when you're going out there getting these credits and doing amazing things and talking about it and caring about other people, people are just impressed. So they're going to share you to their best connections because it makes them, it helps them. Everybody wants to contribute. Everybody wants to share the best people, best ideas, be a part of it. So yeah, you're doing some things right, my friend.
Thank you. And one important thing I want to get from Janet is that Janet really stressed about having as much knowledge from the industry as possible. And there's so many people in the film business that I think, or that are starting out, that I don't think really care about the film business. They like the idea of it. And when you show that you understand the information, that you really want to be great at your job, it does set you apart.
That's what I was trying to say. You said it so good. All right, good. Okay. What time is it now, Joe? 6 p.m.? 6:20. Okay, well, we're a little bit behind. However, what I find is so valuable is when we share these little nitty-gritty things like what you just shared. So I just raise your hand if you have something that you want to like inside avenue or pathway or something that you would love for just this very tight group to understand and know about.
Some advice for the newbies: embrace failure. Take the opportunity to make mistakes early on, because that's how you level up fast. When I did that, I sound mixed a corporate job. It was a low budget thing. It was like $400 a day. It was probably like my third time sound mixing on something professional, and I messed up. And the DP pulled me aside. He's like, Omar, are you taking this seriously? Like, you can't do this. Like, you got to have your stuff together. Like, make the list. You have to practice, and you're making us look bad. And it felt so bad. I was like, oh, that's gross. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But I understand that us getting out of our comfort zone is actually growth and self-love. So I saw like, oh, cool, I just grew right now. That's amazing. And he's telling me this because he wants me to do well. So go make mistakes as many as you can early on when it doesn't cost you anything. So when you get the $1,000 a day job, you're solid and locked in. The other thing is value relationships over a day rate. Echoing what Lucas said earlier, if you have the opportunity to PA on a big budget job, or you have the opportunity to work in your craft on a lower budget job, take the bigger budget job because the quality of connections are so much higher. These are going to be the people that are going to hire you in your craft years down the line. So think long term that way.
Quick story link. Like, you never know who's watching. So if this has not happened to you yet, I have an agent, which I also got from being on set, but that's not the point. I have been booked for like 95% of everything that I've ever done through being on set, not through my agent, even though I get auditions all the time. Just as every actor that with an agent does, and you do those. But I've been booked, all of the things that I was booked on to act in also was not from casting. Like a DP pulled me on because they were doing a short film and their person pulled out last second, and I had only PA'd for him on a shoot. but of course it was a feature, so I had some time with him. So of course he knew I was an actor, and he calls me. He goes, "Sam, can I send you the script? Like, we really need you." They were filming in Phoenix, which is where I'm at. And he was like, "We got to go up tomorrow." And I was like, "Absolutely." So I went and I did it. But the DP called me in, and after we were done, and I crushed it, and that director ended up calling me back, and I started, that connection I did more stuff with. But I asked him, I said, "How come?" Love it, thank you, but you've never seen me act. Like, how did this happen? And he said, if you act half as well as you PA, then like I was confident we were good to go. And so he's pulled me in. I've had producers pull me on. I had a producer for one film that I did, writing his own film, that wrote me a role. Like, so my role, I still had to audition, but luckily I play me better than 30 other me's. And so that's the one on Amazon Prime. So I have a movie on Amazon Prime. Thank you. With the role that was written for me, which I didn't know until after, because I walk into the casting and he was like, "That's her." And I was like, "Hello, 'tis I." And then I, did the whole audition. But he was producing another film while he was writing, and then wrote me in.
The name of the film is
Instant Karma. Instant Karma on Amazon Prime. But like, you know what I mean? And I was editing, I was working at a YouTube ads agency, editing their ads. And then the agency was like, "Why don't you do the voiceover for these next ones?" So I did, you know what I mean? It's just like, you never know. So just go in and have the mindset of, Janet's called it the umbrella effect. Like, if you show excellence in what you do, when you show up and you give 100%, just like the DP that was like, "I've never seen you act, but you said you could. And I've seen you do this thing that you said you could do. And I've seen you do it well. Therefore, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to do the thing you said you could do." And I can. So it worked out. But yeah, I've booked so many things through crew people, just on set being a PA or second AC.
Did you say how they wrote this role for you? Did you tell us that, how that exactly that happened?
So how exactly that happened is, like I mentioned, I started Friends in Film in 2014 in North Carolina. I moved to Hawaii. I did professional theater, like crewing for theater there. I'd only ever done front on stage. So I crewed. Then I went to Japan, did a Friends in Film, saw a casting that was happening for an English speaking role. I messaged them about crewing. They were like, "Never mind, you don't want to do this one. Come to this game show." And so a live interactive touring game show that I still tour with to this day, actually. I am on their team. I was running casting with them. Like, I was doing a lot of stuff there that also came from Friends in Film. Then I moved to Arizona. And the first thing that I put a want to work email on, I got hired on an indie as a PA. And she told me, she goes, "I almost didn't hire you. Like, this part of your email," which was the me part that I added to the template. She was like, "I put my actor's headshot in the like signature, which Janet specifically says not to do." And I did. And she was like, so I didn't, I almost threw it away. She goes, "But this part," which was the whole want to work email part, the template part, she was like, "But that made me think that maybe you knew what was going on. My email is Go for Bell." And so she was like, "I liked your email. It's like the actual email. And I liked it." So she was like, "So I figured I'd give you a shot." So the template, like 100% is what got me on there. And that's where I met the DP. Well, I promise it connects. It's like a web. That producer that brought me on as the PA, she went to cast a Tollywood. So a Bollywood is in Hindi, a Tollywood is in Telugu. And she was casting it. And so she calls me and says, "Hey, I've got this role. I think that you'd be really great for. I need you to tape for me." And I was like, "Absolutely." And I was in one of those places where I was doing so much that that kept happening. Auditions were just like flying, and I wasn't taping, or I wasn't calling back or whatever. And so the deadline exits, and she calls me and says, "Hey, the deadline for the actors was Monday." And she goes, "My deadline is tomorrow. Get your tape in." So I did. I booked the film because she followed back up with me because of that connection. Well, the producer on that Tollywood is the one who was writing Instant Karma. So then he saw me. I was the lead female in that Tollywood. And so he wrote me in Instant Karma. And so that's how that happened, because I did a film with him, but I didn't even know he was watching.
It's just fascinating how you meet people and you just, form relationships with them. And then some of these creative people, they're just always writing, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to write you as a character." And I mean, this happens a lot. Like, this has happened to quite a few friends and film people. So I guess the moral of the story is, get out there, do great work, just form relationships with people all the time, care about them, follow up with them, and be yourself. That's probably the biggest one, is just be your freaky, authentic self.
One thing I learned a lot, I've probably been to hundreds of networking events. Have in mind what you want to do, but don't force it on people. So if you're starting off, what a lot of people will do is they'll talk to somebody, and I'm just trying to think like a conversation in my head. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a actor. Oh, what do you do? I'm a writer. Okay, we can't help each other. Bye. And a lot of time people are breaking relationships that could have helped you. But instead you're not worrying about them as a person. You're just thinking, what can this person immediately do for me? And that's not how you should. That's not how you should do relationships. So if you're starting off, like Janet talks about, be of service, be of like, how could I help this person, or at the very least, brighten their day or be a better person. And sometimes even, and I actually recommend this if you're talking to someone who's actually higher up, like Belle was talking about, sometimes the follow-up is where you make the connection and not the initial connection. So everybody's worried about, I got to make that initial contact and they got to know I'm an actor, writer, producer, or PA. Sometimes it's just best to, where do you like to go? What do you like to eat? What do you like to do? And leave it at that. And then the follow-up is where all the gold is. So that actually helps you break through the noise of just caring about them as a person and not immediately trying to push or immediately decide this person can't do anything for me. So that's a really big thing I want to say about networking.
So I kind of just want to echo with my own story what everybody's been kind of saying. You never know who is watching, and to care deeply when you're on set, because I've shown up to sets where there are people that don't, and when you do care, everyone can see it in your face and see it in your eyes, and they know that you're there for the same reason that they are, because they love film, you love film. And I was on this pilot, and I was PAing, and then again they threw me in the background, and it was for sci-fi, so they put me in like alien makeup and stuff. It was pretty cool, and I got green screened and all that fun stuff. But the director came into background holding, which rarely happens, and he was also the showrunner of the pilot, and he wanted to explain the story and background of these background characters that we would be playing in the environment that we would be in, because we were playing in green screen. And every single person in the room with me was on their phone, was not paying attention, and he was just really excited because it was his story. And so I made sure I didn't have my phone on, and I made sure I wasn't looking at my phone, and I paid attention. And then I started asking him questions, because I was like, there were certain things that he said that were kind of confusing, and I was like, and then he got more excited, and he kept talking to me about it. And then he goes, can we walk and talk? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we walked and talked, and he goes, I was going to have some other people kind of like be with the lead actors and kind of do a line or two with them. Could you be that person? And I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, great. He's like, it was just so nice to talk to somebody about the story I want to tell, and like have someone listen and ask questions and be as excited as I am. And I was like, that's great. And at the end of the shoot, the lead actor in the pilot asked me to have lunch with him, and nobody else got that because they didn't care, because they were just on their phone and whatever else. So my note to all of you is, when you get on set, care as much as as the director or the producer that it's been their baby for years and years and years, and they just want to get it made, care as much as them, because it will show on your face and it will show in your effort, and people will want that energy on set, because sometimes that energy is lost. So keep it up.
I love what you said. The DIT guy on my last shoot, there's so much that happens every single day on these shoots, right? You get so many lessons and you learn so many things. And somehow we got on the topic about being grateful. I actually was telling him about you, Omar, just that your name is Omar. Bye, Vanessa. And Arshi's over there, but don't shoot her with the camera. Arshi from Toronto's over there, but don't shoot her with the camera. But hello. Also in the art department. Okay. Oh yeah. So I was telling him about Omar the Grateful. I said that it's amazing to me to actually think about living your life through being grateful, like actually attaching it to your name, the Grateful. And therefore every thought you're living through this idea of everything that happens, you're going to see it in a way, how can you be grateful for it? And because I'm always kind of like watching Omar going, what? He's so zen. He's so present and zen, and he processes, like he's really behind a lot of these great videos that you guys are seeing, because and also my own development through Friends in Film, my own personal ability to give you guys this information. A lot of it is coming from Joe and Omar. I'm going to talk about you next. No? Okay. Well, anyway, but Omar the Grateful, he processes it. He feels it. I feel that one of the things that is making Omar so successful is he feels other people and he slows down. Like those people that were on their phones, they're just going a mile a minute. Like, how can I get? Slow down, process, speak through your heart, feel through your heart, and be with other people through your heart, and be grateful. Like it's a gift to be alive. It's a gift to be safe. It's a gift to be able to do what we're doing and freely be able to do it. Like, who cares how hard it is, or who cares what obstacles? It's like we get to do that, and then we get to become amazing people in the process of doing something that most people don't even attempt to do. So we get so many benefits from it. I mean, it's just like it gives you your whole life. It gives you your whole identity. So yes, I think Omar the Grateful, you've taught me a lot. You've taught me so much. And I'm really, so grateful that I get to have you in my life and see you on a daily basis. And yeah, you just keep teaching me through your example. And then, of course, I got to say just a little bit about my husband, Joe Hettinger. We often say that we would never be the people that we are if we hadn't met each other and gone down this pathway together. And of course, we've been together for 30 years. And there's been some hard times, and there's been some conflicts and the butting of heads, and then figuring it out together. And sometimes the figuring out together, it's like, oh yeah, we sit down and we discuss it. No, it's not really always so like easy like that, but it's when you're with somebody that wants to improve and grow themselves, they want to become a better version of themselves, not just stay with what they know and be who they are. They actually want to grow and improve. Oh my gosh, it makes that journey of life together, it's like, because you're constantly both learning and growing, and so if you aren't with anybody or you're with somebody, then the probably the best thing I could tell you for relationships is choose somebody that wants to improve themselves and is open to look at themselves and their own behaviors to want to grow for them, for you, but for the relationship, And of course, he's the brains behind this, because I just basically spew whatever's right there, But then I learned from Joe and Omar about, you know, the kind of the deeper levels of it, and then I kind of get it after that. But it's so funny, you know, the way that we all have different processes and different ways of you know, operating in the world. Adriana's kind of like me, just like spew, and like, oh my God, that was a moment of brilliance, and then you kind of discover it, and you're like, oh, okay. But everybody's got, you probably each have your processes of how you know, create, and yeah, that's cool. I love that. Okay, that's all I had to say. So, yeah, now we can watch a movie. Shall we? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Let's continue having so much fun together. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Janet.
Oh, we have ice cream. We have ice cream, so we're going to now bring that. We'll have little ice cream social right now, and then we'll get the movie together, and then we'll make popcorn.
So well said.